Trick or treat!
Oh, hi, trick or treat. Come on in, everybody. Go ahead and put your coats over here. We have a wonderful surprise for you. We have something much better than goodie bags to give you this year. Stories.
Oh.
Come on, all of you, grab a seat. Oh, all the wonderful monsters that we have here. What are you? What are you playing this year?
A pumpkin.
You're a pumpkin. That's right. That's a very pretty pumpkin, too. What are you playing this year?
A snapping turtle.
A snapping turtle. Uh-oh. What are you playing?
Witch.
You're a witch. Are you a good witch or a bad witch?
A bad witch.
A bad witch. We have a wonderful story about a witch. This story is based on a Russian folk tale. It's about a little girl who teaches a witch named Bony Legs that it doesn't pay to be mean.
Is it scary?
Just, you know, for fun, kind of scary. Parents, will you help out? Yes. Denise, will you play Bony Legs?
Sure.
Here, we got a costume for you.
Oh, great.
Bony Legs by Joanna Cole with pictures by Dirk Zimmer. This book is dedicated by the author to Rachel and by the illustrator to Diana. Bony Legs was a horrible, bad witch. She could run very fast on her bony old legs. Her teeth were made of iron, and she liked to snack on little children. She lived deep in the woods in a hut that stood on chicken feet. All day long, she waited for children to pass by. On the edge of the same woods, a girl named Sasha lived with her aunt. One morning, Sasha's aunt sent her out.
Sasha, I need you to go borrow a needle and thread.
All right.
Sasha took some bread and butter and a bit of meat for lunch.
Goodbye.
She began to walk. She walked and walked and walked. She was surprised when she came to a hut that stood on chicken feet. She decided to go inside. She opened the gate.
Poor gate. You need some grease.
She scraped the butter from her bread and rubbed it on the hinges of the gate. It opened quietly. Sasha walked up the path. A skinny dog stood in her way.
Poor dog. You look hungry.
She gave her bread to the dog. He ate it up and did not bark again. A cat was sitting near the hut.
Poor kitty. Are you hungry too?
She gave her meat to the cat. Old Bony Legs poked her head out the window.
What do you want?
My aunt would like to borrow a needle and thread.
Come right in.
Sasha went inside.
Now, get into the tub.
Why? I don't need a bath.
I want you nice and clean. I'm going to have you for supper.
She grinned and showed her iron teeth. Then she went outside to gather sticks for the fire. She locked the door behind her. Sasha was scared. She began to cry.
Don't cry. I will help you. Fill the tub, but don't get in.
Well, I never heard a cat talk before, but I'll do as you say.
Bony Legs called through the door.
Are you washing, girl?
Yes, I am.
Good.
And she went away to gather more sticks. After she had gone, the cat gave Sasha a silver mirror.
When you are in trouble, throw this away.
That doesn't make sense. but I'll do as you say.
She took the mirror and put it in her pocket.
Now run!
Sasha climbed out the window and began to run. Bony Legs called through the door.
Are you washing, girl?
Yes, I am.
Well, hurry up.
Sasha ran through the yard. The dog stopped her and gave her a wooden comb.
When you need help, throw this away.
That doesn't make sense. But I'll do as you say.
She put the comb in her pocket. Then she opened the gate. It did not make a sound on its buttered hinges. Sasha ran into the woods.
Are you washing, girl?
Yes, I am.
What? Not done yet?
There was the cat. There was the tub. But where was Sasha?
You sneaky cat! Why did you trick me?
You never fed me, but Sasha gave me meat to eat.
Bah!
Said Bony Legs. And she ran into the yard. The dog was sleeping in the sun.
Why didn't you bark at her?
You never fed me, but Sasha gave me bread to eat.
Bah!
Bony Legs rushed to the gate.
You worthless gate! Why didn't you lock her in?
You never took care of me, but Sasha put butter on my hinges.
The old witch flew into a rage. She stamped her feet, pulled her hair, and even pinched her own nose. But it did not make her feel any better. She ran after Sasha on her bony old legs. Sasha looked back and saw the witch's iron teeth glinting in the sun. Sasha was scared. She remembered the silver mirror. She took it out of her pocket and threw it behind her. The mirror became a deep silver lake. Bony Legs could not cross it. She ran home and got her tub. She rowed it across the lake and ran after Sasha on her bony old legs. Sasha saw the witch coming again. She remembered the wooden comb.
The comb. The comb.
She took it out of her pocket and threw it behind her. The comb grew until it was as tall as 3 trees. Bony Legs could not climb over it. She couldn't even squeeze through it. At last, she gave up. And she stamped her feet, pulled her hair, and pinched her own nose all the way back to her hut. Sasha went home too.
Oh, Auntie!
And you can be sure she never went back to the hut that stood on chicken feet. And for as long as she lived, she never saw old Bony Legs again. The end. Thank you very much. Shall we do another one?
Yeah.
Yeah? You want to hear another story?
Yeah.
Okay, great. We'll hear another story. I have a wonderful story about a pumpkin. It's about the biggest Halloween pumpkin ever.
Oh, that's my favorite. Can I play Desmond Mouse?
Sure. Denise, will you read this story for us?
Sure.
Thanks.
Okay.
The Biggest Pumpkin Ever by Stephen Kroll, with illustrations by Jenny Bassett. Dedicated by the author to Nina Kaufman and by the illustrator to RBL. Once there were 2 mice who fell in love with the same pumpkin. Clayton, the house mouse, noticed it one day in the vegetable garden.
It's still little and green, but I could make it grow really big. It might even get big enough to win the grand prize at the town pumpkin contest.
Desmond, the field mouse, discovered the pumpkin the same day.
If I helped it grow, this pumpkin could become the biggest jack-o'-lantern in the neighborhood.
That afternoon, Clayton watered the pumpkin.
I'll just mix up a little bit of fertilizer, of manure and water. Oh yeah, spreading this all around the pumpkin will help it grow larger.
That very same night, Desmond went into the garden.
This pumpkin needs water. And some manure mixed with the water will be good, too.
And the pumpkin began to grow. By the end of a month, the pumpkin was so large, Clayton couldn't believe his eyes.
I can't believe my eyes.
My goodness, and it's not even full grown.
All I do is water it, Mom.
If you want that pumpkin to grow bigger faster, you should use sugar water.
That night, Desmond brought his brother Morris to see the pumpkin. Morris knew everything there was to know about growing things.
That's some pumpkin.
All I do is water it, Morris.
You should try using sugar water.
The next day, Clayton dug a small hole beside the pumpkin vine. In the hole, he placed a bowl full of sugar water. He cut into the vine a few inches from the pumpkin. In the cut, he put one end of a piece of candle wick. Then he put the other end in the bowl of sugar water. That night, on the other side of the pumpkin, Desmond did the same. Within a week, the pumpkin was twice the size it had been. Within 2 weeks, it was absolutely enormous. Clayton was amazed.
I'm amazed.
He ran down the road and peeked into his friend Jimmy's pumpkin patch.
The pumpkin Jimmy's going for the contest is much smaller than mine. I have an amazing pumpkin. I think I'm going to win the contest.
That night, Desmond and his brother Morris spent a long time looking at the pumpkin.
How do you think it got that big?
A little luck, a little skill.
It's gonna make some jack-o'-lantern.
Sure is.
By now, summer was almost over. In a week, the pumpkin would be full grown. A few weeks after that, it would be ripe and ready for the pumpkin contest. Clayton could hardly wait. The pumpkin was growing so fast it would soon be larger than his house.
If the pumpkin is larger than my house, how will I get it to the contest? It won't fit in my red wagon. It won't even fit in a truck.
Clayton decided to worry about this when the time came. That night, the weather grew colder.
Oh, dear. It could be an early frost. Blankets. Blankets.
This blanket should help. Huh.
You've been feeding the pumpkin? That's why it got so big.
When everything had been explained, Clayton said,
Well, that pretty much explains everything. I know I could win this contest if I could just get this pumpkin to town.
I'll help you. Just let me carve it into a jack-o'-lantern when the contest is over.
It's a deal.
A deal.
The morning of the contest was bright and sunny. Mice were bringing their pumpkins to the town square by truck and car and wagon. Some were rolling them along the ground. Suddenly, they all stopped short.
You see that?
There was the biggest pumpkin anyone had ever seen.
I've never seen anything like that. Look at it.
It's enormous.
Huge.
Madam Mayor, our pumpkin is too big for any streets, so we can't bring it to the square.
I understand.
And she pinned the first prize ribbon on the side of the giant pumpkin.
Who would have believed this?
Then everyone danced around it. The day before Halloween, they carved it into the best jack-o'-lantern ever.
Pumpkin seeds. These are good. Hey, are you gonna make a tooth?
Yeah, I'm gonna start that right here.
Cool.
And on Halloween night, its wonderful smiling face could be seen glowing for miles around. The end.
Yay!
Let's hear another story.
Okay, one more? Yeah? All right. There we have a monster, right? Monsters. Halloween is a great time for monsters. I have a wonderful story about monsters right here. It's a great book. You want to hear this one? Yeah? It's about monsters and their manners. What are manners, by the way? What would be bad manners if you're eating?
Bad manners are throwing your food on the floor.
That's right. Throwing your food on the floor. That's right. Well, let's see if monsters have different manners than you and me.
Monster Manners by Joanna Cole, illustrated by Jared Lee. This book is dedicated to Rachel. Rosie Monster looked like a perfect little monster. She had nice strong teeth and sharp little claws and green eyes that glowed in the dark. Rosie had just one problem. She was always forgetting her monster manners. Monsters are supposed to fight with their friends and break each other's toys. Rosie played nicely with everyone. This made her mother very unhappy. Monsters are supposed to growl loudly when they answer the telephone. Rosie always forgot and said,
Hello?
in a polite voice. Her father found this very upsetting. Monsters are supposed to chew up rocks to show how fierce they are. But after one bite, Rosie would stop crunching and run for her toothbrush. She didn't like the way the bits of rock got stuck between her teeth. One day, when the family was out walking, Rosie even helped an old man cross the street.
You don't look as if you're 99.
Thank you.
Her mother and father shook their heads.
I'm afraid Rosie will never learn.
How will she ever get along in the world?
Poor child.
While they were talking, Rosie's best friend Prunella came by.
You have good manners, Prunella. Will you teach me?
Sure!
What a gal.
And so Prunella came over to give Rosie some lessons.
Ready?
Ready?
The first lesson was making monster faces. Prunella showed Rosie how to make monster face number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. Then it was Rosie's turn. She tried monster face number 1, then number 2, number 3, and number 4.
That's terrible! Let's try something else. Maybe you're better at table manners.
Prunella took Rosie to a restaurant and ordered lunch.
May I have some milk, please?
Don't say please, Rosie!
Everyone fainted when Prunella started to eat. What a horrible sight.
Oh, gross.
Rosie forgot her monster manners as usual. She used her napkin and her fork and spoon. And when she needed salt, she forgot again and said,
Please pass the salt, Prunella.
Prunella was angry.
You're not even trying!
Prunella decided to give Rosie one more chance.
This time, we'll practice our visiting manners. We'll drop in on my Uncle Ned.
Prunella behaved perfectly for a monster. First, she rang the doorbell 10 times without stopping, even when she heard her uncle say,
Come in.
Then Prunella knocked so hard the door fell down. She went inside and jumped up and down on her uncle's favorite chair. She spilled a vase of flowers on the rug. And finally, she stepped very hard on Uncle Ned's foot. Uncle Ned was proud of Prunella.
Good girl.
But Rosie said,
How do you do?
and sat quietly in the armchair. Uncle Ned was horrified.
Prunella, I suggest you take your friend home. I don't want to see her around here again until she learns some manners.
I did my best, Rosie. I can't do anymore.
Rosie hung her head and followed Prunella. For the first time, Rosie realized how unhappy she had made everyone. And now she felt unhappy too. When Rosie and Prunella got to the monster's house, they saw a big mess. A pipe had broken and water was pouring everywhere.
Help! Help! We're getting flooded!
Rosie's mother and father came running. Rosie's mother called the plumber
Hello?
and growled into the phone. The plumber hung up. Rosie's father called and roared into the phone. The plumber hung up harder. Prunella tried too, but the same thing happened. They were getting nowhere, and the water was getting deeper. Something had to be done, and Rosie did it. Without thinking, she dialed the phone and said in a nice voice,
Hello? We have a leak at the monster's house. Can you come over, please?
I'll be right there.
Thank you.
After the plumber had left and everything was back to normal, Rosie's mother turned to Rosie's father.
You know, dear, Rosie's strange manners do come in handy sometimes.
We're lucky to have her. Strange manners and all.
They gave Rosie a hug and a kiss and sent her out to play.
Mind your manners, dear.
I will, Mother.
The end.
Yay! Thank you very much. Well, that's it. Thank you all so very much for joining us for our trick-or-treat session. We want you to come back next Halloween, all right? But you have to promise us that there will be no tricks, all right?
Okay.
No tricks, okay? Okay, thanks a lot. Happy Halloween to you. Happy Halloween.
Okay, where's my
Goodbye. Thank you very much, Denise, for playing Bony Legs. Bye-bye. Happy Halloween. No tricks!
Scholastic is the place where readers can learn.
These are the books that show the way
To the place to listen and read.
readers here who open the books.
Using the light that shows the way. Find the place to listen and read.
Books to unveil a story or tale.
Books that define, books that broaden the mind.
Use the light that shows the way.